Hi, it's Jez from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to do some quick easy clusters. This is a project that I did just after Easter when I went down to stay at my brother's. Him and his wife were busy sort of getting things ready. They were going on a cruise a couple of days later. So I said, oh, don't worry about me. I've got my crafting. I've had a week without crafting. So I said, I'll just sit and do something. So I did these. I did other things as well. I was playing with my little flippy floppy envelope thingy. That's for another video. So yeah, I thought I'd take you through making these quick, easy clusters. These two are little hidden journaling spots as well. I thought they would sort of get stuck down on two sides on a page, so they'd be a little tuck, and then put these little tabs on, so then they're little hidden journaling spots. Same on that side, be stuck down and there. So yeah, that's what I did, and I just used up little bits of scraps and little bits of labels and die cuts, etc. So I used, I think that was a Prinami bag, but I got loads of Boots prescription bags. They come in brown now. So split it open, and then I've got a nice big bit of brown paper, which cost me nothing. I mean, you can use other things like, say, Prinami carrier bags are quite good, although they're going to start charging, so won't be getting any more of those. And I have this little box. You've probably all got little storage boxes like this, and this was an idea that I got from my friend Ronnie. If you're watching, Ronnie, hi, looking forward to seeing you soon. She just showed this box, so it's good for cluster making. There's a couple of big bits in there actually that shouldn't be in there. So it's just lots of little different bits of scraps. Now these are usually laid around my desk, so yeah, I thought what a brilliant idea, and great for sort of taking on the move. So I've got butterflies there that have been fussy cut out. I've got a few longer bits in here, got bits of scraps of lace, bits of music paper, some labels, some this stuff. Do you know, it always escapes me what this is called, cheesecloth, muslin, whatever. Some other little bits and bobs, some stamps, some labels, yeah, all sorts in here to help make the clusters. I've also got, because I am making clusters for a project that you've probably seen now, I've stopped it just before the end. So these are some of Rachel and Bella bits and bobs from her French billet, the love letter one that's in French, to use. So I want some specifically kind of in this sort of colour, so I'm putting them up there. Actually, I don't know why I'm balancing them there, because that's not what I want to do. So what I did was I sort of thought about it in like rule of three, so like three things. So each of the clusters have got three things on them, so most of them got a bit of music, maybe a bit of lace, or they've got like a bit of glassine or vellum, and then like a focal point, a label, a stamp, or a butterfly. That is what I did. Some of them got a little bit more on them, but that's basically the premise that I went with. So I've got these little bits here that can be like the focal point. That was my thoughts. So what I did was, I'm actually, this is quite big for, oh, we'll do it that way. There we go. So got me a bit like that. It doesn't matter that it's a bit creased. I just literally split the bag open. Now I've got me little bits of music paper, but I'm gonna look through the these aren't scraps, but because I'm using I want them to match this kit here. I kind of wanted like a document in the background as opposed to music paper. It's just me being a bit fussy, but that is what I want. So let me bring in some scraps. Oh, I've got those. There we go. So I'm going to use these scraps actually to make my little first layer. That's what I want. That's what I want. Oh, I like that. So we got this bit here. So I'm going to just rip down. So it's good scrap busting. Clusters are always handy. Decorating pockets. These are going on pockets and maybe some tags. So that's what we want. So I'm just going to rip across like that. Might do one long one. There we go. Yeah. I like. So let's rip you down there and rip across there. Right, I got this far and now I'm going to have to stop because I just heard my son arrive. I thought he had 20 more minutes, but I haven't. So we'll have to continue with this tomorrow. Here I am back. It's the next day. We had a lovely evening. So where was I? Oh, I was ripping things up one night to be nice little backgrounds for clusters. I'm just going to take a bit of this. And then, yeah. So I have got a project in mind that these are going for, but you don't have to. You could just make random ones. The other ones were just very random, just using what I had in my little box. But I do actually need these for a project, which, because we're going to do a bit of time travel, you will have seen where these are being used. Might do two long ones, and then I might just I like that, take a bit of this, and because I like the colours, and now the colours of this will go with what I'm making. Well, they will go with what I'm making because this paper is from the same kit, Jez. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I know, I'm full of them. So I'll do that in half because I want it to be a bit longer. There, I think that'd be enough. Let's get rid of all these ripped bits in bin. There we go. So let's sort these out. So we're going to have some longer ones because I think they'll go nicely on a tag, and these will go nicely on a pocket. Oh, that needs ripping. I didn't actually, I need to count. Let's count how many pockets and tags, because I don't want to do this process and then not actually have enough, because that would be really annoying. That's what that would be. So this is what I'm making them for. So we've got one tag, two tags. So I've got two tags, and it's whether or not I want to bung them on the front. 3, 4. So two. So I want 4 altogether. So I might do another long one. Actually, that's what I might do. Let's find a bit of something that I wanna use. Oh, and now I've got a decision to make, and that's just rubbish. let's go from this one because I've already ripped out of this one. That's nice. I'll just come down here. Off camera soz. So let's just take that one on there. Go up there. This is 120 GSM paper, so it doesn't really rip as good as if I'd use ordinary copier paper. That's a really big. I want that off. There we go. So we're going to have 4 taggy things. Right, now I want to do little clusters for the pocket fronts. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 10 of them. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's have some more. Just get ripping. There we go. 6. 7. 8. 'Off. I like ripped ends. 9. No, we'll have that one. 10. There we go. So it's a good way to use your scraps up from a project that you've made. If you use it from the scraps of the project and you've got pockets to decorate, you know, they'll match. So we've got them dotted around on my bit of paper. Just leaving a little space. Want enough space so you can rip them round. Okay, so I've got my glasses on. I don't know why, because can't see. There we go. So then I want something sort of behind it. So I've got a focal point, but I've got things behind. Like there, we've got bits of lace. It's a bit quick showing you. So it's breaking up this base bit and the focal point. Now I've got all these little bits to be focal points to stick on them. So you kind of want something behind it to break it up. So I'm just randomly placing things that will look good. On them. Can you see down there? Not really, Jess. Out of shot down there. Out of shot. Put that the right way up. There we go. These need something a little bit bigger, I think. That's just I've got these bigger ones that you did that actually might be better on these. So I might swap you over a bit there. Put that one there and that one there. I've got these, so I might do that. You can, of course, you don't have to stick to 3. You can do extra. So like in that. There. That's okay. So now I want something behind. I've got my trusty little box here of stuff. So I've got little bits of lace that I could maybe chuck on. So let's try some of them out. And I've got cheesecloth. So that's what I think I might use. So I'm just gonna audition a few bits and see how I like them. So, and I might use a bit of vellum or something underneath. Right, quite like that. Kind of goes a bit with that stamp. There. A little bit outshot, that one. Shall we move you up? Trouble is, it's there. Let's stick a punch on it, and it won't move. There we go. Now you might be able to see a bit better. No, you're not going to show up. You probably show up more on that one, which was my first instinct. There, to have a little bit of lace down there. Oh. Yeah, don't like that there. Sticky there. Quite like the look of that. We got there. Yeah, liking that. I've got a bit of pattern paper here that I'm thinking I might need an extra little layer behind there. Give that a little bit of a something other lift. Yeah, liking that. And I may actually yes, shows much better now. See, just a little something else really kind of really works there. All these little top bits have all been inked, but the base bits haven't, and that is simply because I haven't. No other reason, just I haven't. But I'm gonna go over the tops after. So I think they're really coming along there quite nicely. I'm liking that. No, this is just what I managed to pick out of that box. I do have other scraps that I can use, like in that. Got lots of cheesecloth there, running out of lace bits. So, oh, a another bit there. Don't really want that daisy. You're not doing it for me at all. You get lost. But I could, does get lost, but I could make it a bit darker. Let's just use this scrap of paper. Colour that. And then it'll go nicely on there. I do like the look of that pattern paper behind it, so I might need to have to go and find some more on account of the fact that I tidied it up after last using it. Not like me at all. So there's none sat around my desk. So that is the reason why I don't normally tidy. It's my excuse, and I am sticking to it. Oh, I've got a pretty bit of... No, I don't want them flowers. Right, so I need a couple more to have things going on. Let's find my little tin of lace scraps. I have this little tin here where I put my lace scraps. Do you know, if you like me, so I got late and I'm like, oh, I really like that piece because it's old. So it goes back in because it's too nice to use. So you've got to stay in Hoardsville a little bit longer. Same with that one. So let me have a little look, see. Cut this up. That's what I do with this one. Cut along there, turn it into 2 scraps. So I've got 2 more bits there that need little bits on. Another one of them I've cut in half. No, it's too long, but I can use it on this one. So I've got 2 bits there. I could just cut a little bit off, some inches, something. Right, this one. Take that top bit off and then it stops being gathered. So just take that a little bit there, like that. That I think needs something else behind it. As does that. I think I'm going to stick that on there. There. That one needs something. There, They all got something? Indeedy. I think I need some bit more of that lovely pattern paper. That's what I need, and then I think we're good to go. So let me just get that. So there we go. Let's just rip a bit of this off. Like that. There. Oh, I can hear seagulls, which is an amazing thing when I live in a city, but we do have water nearby. The Umberestra. There we go. So I do often have very noisy seagulls, and they do congregate in the park round the corner. I might put that behind, although you can't really see it behind the, yeah, no, just not really. Yeah, no. Got a long bit here. Anything else required? No. On there. On there. We might take a bit of this. Oh, I'll put it there. They'll all get eaten up a bit in the sticky down process. There we go. I think that's it. So now, having done all that, it's just a matter of sticking them down. So she says just. Now I could, if I wanted to, and clearly I do, sort of ink up these bits at the back. Let's just do a couple and then with you, and then I'll sticky them down, and then the rest I might do speeded up. But this I found to be a really sort of therapeutic task where I could do something and not think, and it was exactly what I needed on the day I made those ones. I'd had a very emotional week, and I wanted to just do something where my brain didn't necessarily have to do very much thinking, and I just, I could just get lost in doing this and enjoy my mind concentrating on inking and sticking and all that, so that, yeah, I just found it really therapeutic, yeah, and fun. So there we go. She turns it over and now thinks, no, let's just go with what I decided. I'm making myself make quick decisions, and if I stumble on something that's making me think, oh, I'm not sure, then I don't make that decision. I leave that for another day. I decided to sort out some of Ed's clothes. Some of them were really easy to go, yeah, we don't want that. And then anything I was thinking about, I was like, all right, so that's requiring a decision, so I'm not making that decision. So it went back in the wardrobe. And then I called the boys in last night, because I did it yesterday in the morning. And then last night, when they were both here, I said, right, are you happy if I get rid of these things? And then they promptly started trying things on. I mean, come the end, Ed was really thin. He was just skin and bone come the end. Cancer's cruel. But he was quite a big man, and you know, not big, he wasn't fat, but he wasn't thin. And he had a dad body. I loved it. And he I don't know, I think he had that, I think he was like almost dysmorphic in a way, because he always wore things at least a size bigger than he really needed to. I say, you don't, and even when he'd lost like 3 stone being poorly, he still bought really big clothes. I went, you don't need it to be that big. And then I would buy him smaller clothes and he'd put it on. He went, oh yeah, I like that. It's like, yeah. But I suppose if you've been big for a long time, it is hard to see yourself. It takes a while for your brain to adjust. That way up in it, Jez. Yeah. To being smaller. And so yeah, so there were some clothes that actually the boys could wear, and there were a couple of things where he'd actually, I'm not sure if I want that one on there. Oh, it's going on. You know, but there were some things that they tried on and they were just too big, and they were just like gutted. It was like, oh, I loved seeing Daddy in that shirt, but yeah, I couldn't wear it. So anyway, it was good. We cleared some of those things out, and so some of his, like the rugby tops, Liam was happy to take a couple of those, and they fitted quite nicely, so that was good. And then there were a few others, and I went, I'm not ready yet to decide if I want to get rid of them. And we decided last night as well that we're going to go to a rugby match. So that way up, yeah, it is. Season pass holders can get 2 tickets for a tenner. So we're doing that next month. Going to see the rugby, even though it's not my bag, but we're just going to do it once for Ed. And so yeah, so I said, oh, I want to wear one of his rugby shirts to that. And James might as well, because we've got loads. But Liam took his Old Faithful hoodie. It's called Old Faithful. That's the FC song. And so that was on this big hoodie, which is quite big on Liam, but he said, oh, I could wear it around the house, you know, in the winter, keep you warm. So I said, oh, that's a good idea. The thought of his dad keeping him warm is really nice. So yeah, so that's me. anything that requires a little bit more thought and decision making doesn't happen. So anyway, so I left with this big pile of shirts, and some of them are really nice, and so I was like, oh, maybe I should have a go at Vinted, because some of them, you know, there's like Fat Face, and there's a couple of like suit shirts from, I can't remember the name of the make, but they're like 70 quid a pop if you bought them new. So we didn't pay 70 quid for them, bought them in charity shops. But I said, oh, maybe if I try a bit of Vinted, and then we maybe get a little bit of spending money for our holiday. So we're going to go to Greece next year. So I picked out 4 that I'll try my hand at Vinted, and then the rest going to charity shop. There's about, there must be 10 that I'm taking to the charity shop. But, you know, if I sell the other 4 on Vinted, I might get enough money for us to go out for a meal on holiday, and then we can think, oh, Dad paid for this. To be fair, Dad's paying for everything. I don't like that black line. I'll cover it. Yeah, so that'll be nice. Well, to be fair, he's not paying for everything, because I do have money in my own right. It's not all from him. But he did leave me well looked after. So I'm very lucky, because I know not everybody's in that position. So, and I did mention my car before this, and I'm picking it up today. That's very exciting. I've got a friend coming with me, so she's very excited to be doing that. It's nice that people like to live vicariously through you, isn't it? So, and I'm glad somebody's coming with me, because I am trading in Ed's car. I mean, it needed to be traded in. You know, whatever, regardless, it would have to have been traded in. We would have been getting a new car anyway. We'd have probably got it last year, but we hardly drove it last year. It could drive to the hospital and back on its own. But it'll still be sad to see it go, even though I never really liked driving it. But, you know, it's just another thing of his that's going. So that's hard. Right, that is, I've waffled enough. I am now going to continue to glue these down. I'll do it speeded up, so you can see, and I'll just keep quiet and get happily lost in the moment. So that is them all done. So I am just going to take a photo of this before we start ripping them apart. There we go. Right, so we've done that, and you might notice I did some sort of leaning to the right and leaning to the left because I'm going to be putting them on pockets on the left hand side and right hand side, so I just remembered that afterwards. So now we're going to carefully rip these out. I mean, you could make a load of these and then you could have them just stored like this, but I think it's easier to store them actually ripped up. So I'm gonna just rip the end of this off, and then your creative scraps, of course. Not thinking too much about it. Nice little brown paper scrap. Let's come down here. It's easy to work in small bits. So let's just take this as for instance. So we've ripped all this off. So now we can work our way a little bit closer to this. And then we've got a cluster, and then of course we'll ink it up a bit, and that is one little cluster. So do another one. I might even sort of, I'm just not quite, I might not ink it all because it might depend on where it's going. I might need to rip a little bit more. So I'll show you what I mean in a second. So really not thinking about ripping too much. I'm just ripping, and then I'm going to bring in the destination. So let's have a little look-see. So we've got this double page here. I don't like any of those for them. This one. So got a bit of pink. Have any of these got a little bit of pink in? That one maybe a little bit. And that one. Yeah. So if we're gonna stick these in here, I might stick that one on there. Got a bit of blue in. So we need to rip down a little bit more. So I'm gonna take this brown paper off a little bit. For that to go on there. And actually you could decide I want lots of the brown paper off. So you can in fact rip it virtually all off for it to go on there. That would be all right. So I'm thinking I actually want that bit there. I'm not sure that I actually want to see all that brown. So take that off there. That works for me. So go around what's being left. And then we're going to stick that on the pocket there. is fitting on there nicely. And then I can, to the way around, I can stick that on the front there to decorate that tag there, so the tag's got a little bit of a topper. Again, I might take a little bit, just a little bit. I want some of this brown to show. And then we'll give it an inky dink, because this needs, that was a plain background, so it didn't really need the border, whereas this is a busy background, so it does need the border to make it pop, otherwise it would just get lost. So that's going to go on top of there like that. I may even come in with a word afterwards. But for the moment, I don't want to see a bit of that flower. So there we are. So that's a topper for that. And then that pops in there, and that is how I'm gonna use them. So I'm gonna leave that there to dry. So I'll just continue to rip up these like so. So there we have it. Just over an hour, about an hour and 10 I've spent doing that. Obviously I've speeded things up. And then we've got a nice little collection of clusters ready to put on any project, but obviously I've got a project in mind for it. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was useful. Hope that's given you some ideas. And I'll be back soon with some more ideas. Okay, bye for now. Take care, everyone.